Yeah, well, a lot of them turn to social media. Certainly, families, peers are influential. Teachers and career counsellors are quite important as well. But for a lot of them, I think they end up looking at the UAC guide to try and find a university course that might be of interest. And a lot of them really feel pressured into going to university because it's sort of presented almost as the pathway to a happy and successful life. But there's a lot of flaws in that kind of argument. I think one of your speakers just now said, it's not the be all and end all. And we really need to make sure that young people are aware of the different pathways to successful futures.
So, what does good advice look like?
Yeah, I think what we find in a lot of high schools at the moment is that the main advice students are getting is really matching the grades they're currently getting to, again, courses in the UAC handbook, the university options. That's not good career advice. I mean, it can certainly help some to make decisions. But I think what really matters is that we're providing young people with an array of options so they understand the broad set of university and vocational and other pathways. I think it's really important that we also help them to understand the realities between post-university study and workplace realities. Like a lot of young people will finish degrees and not be able to work in the field that they've chosen. But I think most importantly, it's really essential that we listen to young people and try and understand and help them to understand who they are, what really interests them, and what really turns them on. The old Daria cartoon once posted a statement that said, my goal is not to wake up at 40 with the realization I'm in a career I hate because I was forced to make a decision in my teens. And I think that's actually quite an insightful statement. And it's not just about forcing people to choose a job, because we know that jobs are not as they used to be anyway.
Yeah, so it's a two-way street, I guess. But what age is best to offer the career advice?
Yeah, a lot of career advice happens starting around year 9 or year 10 in high school, and it really is too late for a whole host of reasons. We conducted a major study where we followed students from years 3, 5, 7, and 9 through 4 years of schooling. And I think we ended up with 12,000 surveys of students as well as surveys of their teachers and parents. What we found is that young people, even in year 3, are making not necessarily firm decisions, but they're already narrowing their options. They're already thinking about what they might do when they grow up from a really young age. So it's not about sort of career counselling per se, but it is about talking with young people about their future options and I guess keeping the range of options expanded rather than narrowed is really important.
In your work looking into this space, does the service adequately match up to the rapid pace of change that we're seeing in the workplace, whether that be through AI development or through other things?
Yeah, I think that right now there's a lot of energy going into trying to keep up, but I don't think any of us can keep up with the rapid pace of change at the moment. We're doing another study right now where we're going back to the same schools more than 10 years after we first collected that data, just to look at how young people's aspirations have changed because of the labour market changes, climate change, COVID. There's so many factors that have impacted on, I think, how young people feel about their futures. Even back 10 years ago, we found that 23% of young people from year 3 to year 12 didn't know what they wanted to do in terms of post-school pathways. And so that uncertainty is fine in a way, but we often end up making young people feel bad about the uncertainty and to feel bad if they're not necessarily sure about a university pathway that they want to pursue.
And of course, advice can be discarded, but in your research, how influential have you seen this advice be in young kids' lives?
Yeah, I mean, teachers can say things, it's not always the careers counsellor. It can often be, a classroom teacher who says something that can actually transform a young person's life. We know, for example, of one student who desperately wanted to be a chef, and he was a very smart, high-achieving young man. He was advised not to be a chef, you're too smart for that, and pushed into university options. As it turns out, he did end up pursuing, a career in restaurants, and he ended up working in a hatted restaurant in London. So, it is about nurturing people's passions. I mean, as another example, I still remember a year 11 teacher writing on my history essay, "I look forward to following your brilliant career." That was more than 40 years ago. And, at the time I thought it was a bit odd, but, it's really lovely that something like that has stuck with me. And I know really negative comments that teachers make also stick with young people. So I think the small things that teachers say can really make a difference, and teachers need to be really mindful of that.